Tommy W. Ziffrin, young dynamic filmmaker, whose grant to study the Dr. Sanford Baker family of earthquake-ravaged Sherman Oaks, California, has just been renewed.
We are so proud of you, E.W.
Thanks, Beverly. A lot has happened recently. All of it sad, tragic, and disorienting. Not for me, for the Bakers. An earthquake finally tossed their old house onto the scrap heap of Los Angeles history. So the Bakers moved to a new house, which is bolted to its foundation, which should make it safer from earthquakes, if not from their own dysfunction. Their youngest son, Kenny, learned that trying to be an American patriot in Sherman Oaks was no longer challenging enough. So he decided a military college was the answer.
It's exciting.
To my beloved family, I'm really enjoying my first week of military school, especially the hazing. I like my teachers, too, particularly Colonel Sherman, who teaches my sniper class.
Sick motherfucker.
Meanwhile, Sanford's older brother, Dan, and his wife, Maureen, got themselves into a great deal of hot water when they got busted for securities fraud. Dan and Maureen are in separate golf and tennis jails right now. Sanford and Beverly's generosity and guilt led them to take in their nephew, Billy, a young graduate student as annoying as he is diminutive.
Hey, be careful. Come on, chop chop. Immigrants.
What's it all mean? Well, for me, it means business as usual at the Bakers. I'm gonna have that grant forever.
Hi, W.
I did. Beverly, there's something I need to tell you.
Oh, Sanford, you're gonna share.
Sweetheart, please. So when the house got trashed in the earthquake, Beverly decided we needed to upgrade. She thought a bigger house would be heavy and it wouldn't shake as much. So now I've got these huge mortgage payments from now until a couple of years after I die. There's no easy way to say this. A number of years ago, I re-registered as a Republican. No, I didn't qualify for a low-interest loan. The government thinks I make too much money. Of course, they didn't bother to ask what my family spends.
Republican? Sanford, don't tell me you've actually been voting for those people.
Beverly, as a good American, I've always voted my pocketbook, our pocketbook. And when it got bigger, it was my patriotic duty to vote with the party that understands the rich and overextended.
What?
Amen. Good eat.
Thanks. If that meant any less to me, I wouldn't have heard it.
That's the Baker's new housekeeper. The old one realized her American dream when she won $30,000 on a scratcher. She used the money to open her own bail bonds office. Hi, Min.
Hello. When I interviewed with Mrs. Baker, she seemed like a normal nouveau riche American. Well, you know, embarrassed by her wealth and guilty over her good fortune. It was very important for her to convince me that,
In this family, we care about people. And the less fortunate they are, the more we care. And you strike me as less fortunate.
she was completely batshit. But I needed the job, and since I'm studying psychology at night, I thought it would be good for me.
The Baker's other son, Tyler, still thinks he's black. And from what I can see, he's got no plans to be white again anytime soon.
T, man, you need to ease up with that stuff, bro. That stuff is full of cholesterol. Who cares, man? Look, we young and black. The white man system gonna end us before 30, so cholesterol up. Pass.
Good morning.
Morning, guys.
Hello. Thank you.
Where's Billy and Tiffany? Where's my tea?
I'm not sure where they are, but I do know that I don't care.
Yo, Moms, Pops, listen. You got to set Billy's mind to or trip his ass off to live with some other blood.
Tyler, your cousin has just been through a nightmare. Cut him some slack, okay?
Yeah, listen to what your mom says. He'll come around. I think his attitude toward me is already starting to change.
See? Didn't I tell you he'd get over you testifying against his parents?
You did.
I'm over it.
I probably lost about $15,000 in my brother's investment scheme. You know, Danny was always something of an operator. Even as a kid, he wouldn't hesitate to cut a corner on you. You wouldn't want him to be the banker in Monopoly, that's for sure. So I'm not really that surprised about this securities fraud thing. Too bad, too, because he really is a bright guy.
As bright as you, Dr. Baker?
Well, since he's in jail and I'm not, no.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Billy.
Oh, guys, wait, I need a favor to ask. You could sign... Oh, could you sign this letter to the prison board on my parents' behalf? I knew Uncle Sanford wouldn't sign it. He's still pretty ticked off over the money he lost. I asked that my parents only have to serve their minimum sentences, and when they're granted conjugal visits, that they're with each other. Not you, Min. Appreciate the gesture, but household help doesn't impress anyone.
My family came to America 10 years ago. We worked very hard and were finally able to buy a little grocery store. Our only vacation was to go to the police station and identify shoplifters in a lineup. Then my family's reward after all that hard work was to be burned out in the riots. I hold very bad feelings towards those who burned and looted us.
Yo, take Dr. Hey!
When you hire a Korean, it helps to tell them that you have African-American friends. Tiffany, Jason called. He'll pick you up at 7. And he said, and I'll try not to laugh, you are what all angels wish they could be.
Oh,
Stunning, you crud buckets. Oh, men, Jason has the heart of a poet. Can you believe a man can be so sensitive, kind, and caring, and carry so little debt and still live in Los Angeles?
Is it good when you're between the bed linens of desire?
I don't know. He hasn't made a move on me yet.
Uh-oh.
Well, Jason sounds like a real winner to me, and from what I can tell, less sex is something you could use a lot more of.
My cousin is about 100 years behind the times when it comes to women and sex. I've tried to tell him that sex is just another component of a mature relationship. You know, like friendship, respect, and a really cool car.
Well, if your Jason hasn't tried to seduce you, maybe he's the kind that prefers to wrestle men in the nude?
Believe me, Jason is not gay. Sometimes when we kiss, I pin him against the concrete or upholstery, and he gets as big as a rock. And as hard as one, too.
Hey, stop! Educated women should not discuss that sort of thing. Min, you're in school part-time, so you have an excuse.
Come on, everybody, gather around.
What's wrong?
Nothing's wrong. We just need to talk to you.
You're going to prison, aren't you? Oh, God, this is how my parents told me. I'm like a walking penal plague.
Billy, nobody is going to prison.
That's right, sweetheart. We don't swindle decent people like your parents do. Everyone, your father, well, Billy, your uncle, and Min, your employer, and Doctor, your friend's father, is considering running for the state legislature.
What? Ain't nobody gonna vote for you. Yo, no offense, Dr. Baker. I mean, you're as great as a guy can be without a social conscience. But who would ask you to run for office?
The Republican Party.
What?
And with State Senator Burns retiring and the mood of the voters being so angry and unresponsive, we think we can finally get a Republican elected to this seat.
Crying out loud, the Republican Party isn't as awful as you think. Lincoln was a Republican. Teddy Roosevelt was a Republican.
Spiro Agnew was a Republican, and Nixon, and Ollie North, and that dreamboat, Joe McCarthy.
Yeah, and Hitler was a vegetarian. Does that make all vegetarians psychopaths? Come on, honey, stop being so dogmatic. Let's face it, it's hip to be a little right of center these days.
Fine, Sanford, do what you want, but don't expect me to be the perfect GOP bride. I don't have the hair for it.
And of course, Dr. Baker, the committee will want to know your reasons for running.
Well, there are so many.
No, there aren't.
Gotta get some free publicity. Oh, my advertising costs are enormous. You gotta keep reminding people that they need plastic surgery. As corny as it sounds, it's my chance to give something back.
Oh, man, that's booty, Pops. He going Gingrich on nuts.
Hey, you should be proud that your father supports such a visionary leader.
I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm an independent, because I don't want anyone taking my vote for granted.
Oh, Tiffany, you vote? That's all right.
You didn't think I'd vote because I have big boobs, huh?
No.
Huh?
And bless the American electorate. In recent years, they've been willing to elect a number of unqualified Republican doctors to political office. No thanks. And I can assure you that being elected only adds to the value of a physician's practice.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned that one of your sons has befriended an African-American boy. It is one of your sons, right?
Yes, Tyler.
And if it was our daughter?
Your daughter? Oh, I can't mention enough the importance of your family and how important that African-American friend will be to a campaign.
No.
Huh?
No, and you, my sister of privilege, need to register and use your vote to destroy the white power establishment.
I am registered, and I did vote, damn it. And the next guy who talks to me like I'm just a set of ambulatory breasts is gonna get his dense male ass kicked.
Let's look at something that happened earlier. How much uninterrupted politics can we sit through? You're welcome.
A non-threatening African-American youth can only be helpful in winning a campaign.
The Republican Party can tell Sanford anything they want, but who's got his ear late at night? See, I got this all figured out. If we go all the way to Washington, I'm in the driver's seat.
This appeals to you?
Ah, for so many reasons. To be able to help people, to make a difference in their lives, and to finally prove to my father that my opinions do so belong at the dinner table.
Tiffany, can we talk?
Of course we can talk, Jason. In fact, we have talked.
About sex. You must be wondering why we haven't gone any further than this.
Well, I thought it was because you respect me and you want to get to know me better.
No, it's not. You see, I have what some people consider to be an offbeat sexual turn-on. It's kind of embarrassing.
Oh, Jason, there's no reason that you should be embarrassed about your sexual needs. As long as it doesn't include anything that would damage lucite.
Yo, Doc, what color you like for the white man's boot of oppression stomping down on the carotid artery of our peoples?
Well, T, man, can't you just paint a bird or something?
Ty, you got a second? I was wondering if I could impose on you just for the next couple of months to return to your white roots.
I ain't got no white roots, Pop. I told you before, man started in Africa. We all black.
Listen, Tyler, running for elected office is no silly game. I can't afford a citywide embarrassment.
That's right, T. Your father has a right to keep it to just friends and neighbors.
I support you, but you guys to step up to my people's agenda.
Which is?
Tear it all down, man. Just dump on the white man's oppressive and illegal government, you know what I'm saying? Stomp Whitey. Mean, hard, and out.
I'll be sure and bring it up to Newt at breakfast.
Look, man, don't even be talking at that white Anglo-conqueror, you know what I'm saying? Or you can forget me covering your ass if you're gonna do that white man's bidding.
Tyler, I am the white man. Cuckoo, kajoo.
Henry Kissinger was right. Power is the ultimate aphrodisiac. Check out Dr. Baker's new mistress.
Oh, Sanford, you're running because you know how much power really turns me on, right? Oh, sex with a politician. Oh, God, it's just like Marilyn. I am so hot that not even the Prozac is going to put the kibosh on this orgasm.
I had no idea power turned you on this way.
Oh, are you kidding? If I had wanted so many plastic surgeries, I would probably be with some egomaniac criminal defense attorney instead of you.
Uncle Sanford, I didn't sleep a wink last night trying to think of ways to get you elected to Congress.
So I can count on your support.
Well, I can't believe you won't earn my vote.
Earn?
Yes. Now, the first issue I'd like to vet you on is the repeal of all forms of gun control.
Repeal gun control. I'll work on that.
Good. Now, while the nation is arming itself to the teeth, we gotta come down on abortion with a vengeance.
Vengeance, abortion. You got it.
Hi, homies.
Hey, what's up, Moms? Yo, listen. How come you numbed the Pops down tracking with the Nudity boy evils?
Oh, chill, bloods. If your dad get the vote, I'll take care of business.
Oh, Miss B, you down with politics?
Oh, ever since Kent State?
Wait, you were there?
Well, no. But I bought the issue of Newsweek with the girl screaming on the cover.
I only have to be in Sacramento a couple times out of the year. I figured I'd get an associate to cover for me. Get some kid fresh out of medical school who's broke and talented like I was. Jerry, I've always been interested in politics. I vote. I always watch the evening news, you know, unless there's a game on or something.
Oh, that's okay, man. I can make it myself.
Oh, you bet you can. Even though I'm not very comfortable with the African-American people, I still like Doctor more than...
You know something? My people be sick of your peoples exploiting us with them jacked up prices and always being suspicious when we walk in your little shops.
Well, allow me to apologize for all the Koreans who are trying to make a living.
Yeah, well, that's a start.
Min may only be making $6 an hour working for the bakers, but she's pulling down $3.99 a minute from some very lonely guys.
Tony? Oh, yes. You're a real tiger. Well, of course I frosted my flakes. Now I want you to put your paws together and pull your tail through them. That's right. Now I want you to give me your 8 essential vitamins and minerals. They're great. Oh, time's up, Tony. Bye.
Ooh, that roast beef looks good.
I can put some back, Dr.
No,
Baker.
no, no, don't be silly. Enjoy. Here, try some of this great spicy mustard.
Thanks.
You know, whoa, hello.
Oh, God, it's a 7!
All right, honey, it's just a little aftershock.
2.4.
Oh, if that much. By the way, I was hoping maybe I could count on your support if I decide to run for office. We'd love to have you here when the committee shows up to meet the family.
Well, yeah, Dr. Baker, sure, I'll give you my support.
Great, and we'll make sure you're registered.
I am registered.
Good, have some more roast beef. Here.
Well, I figure a white man who doesn't get it who I know is better than a white man who doesn't get it who I don't know. You know?
Uncle Sanford, I'm very, very proud of you. It's like St. Paul being struck by lightning.
Great. Have a seat, will you?
So you really going elephant, Dr. B?
Well, the Republican Party is the party of ideas.
Bullshit.
With a capital B.
Look, I know, but nobody's got any ideas. Let's face it, we live in the Valley, and nobody's voted Democrat since the riots.
Rush calls them minority street festivals.
The point is, you could be as great a statesman as Truman, and it won't matter unless you get elected.
That's booty, Pops. Republicans ain't nothing but a bunch of prison freaks and God geeks.
Hey, normal people call it respect for the law and the Lord.
And what do you call it?
I am normal.
You're normal.
No. I will not debate with hostile inner-city black youths.
Hostile in the city, black. You think I'll keep you looking? I will kick your little blue-eyed behind. Do it.
Chill.
Yeah, chill. That's good. That makes me sound kind of hip, doesn't it?
Dr. Baker wasn't even running for office yet, but his electorate was teaching him some painful lessons about politics. Check out these sound bites.
And I really believe there's a lot more we can do than just closing the borders of this great nation to Mexico.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We gotta come down harder on the Canadians. Do you realize that 85% of all Canadians are amassed on our borders? And what good are they if they start sneaking in? You can bet we're not gonna get them to pick our tomatoes.
Yo, I need to receive some fat info that you down with the comings and goings of the knocking down hurting.
I'll get back to you on that.
You do that.
Man, it's open.
The hell is this? Hey, what?
Oh, it's me, Sanford, Verna.
For God's God's sake, Verna. I said pink lady, not bag lady.
No, darling, it's a disguise. Now that you're running for elective office, we're gonna have to be much more careful that no one finds out about us.
And you figure no one's gonna notice a bag lady pushing a shopping cart into a motel room. Who's advising you, Gary Hart?
Don't you use that tone of voice with me, Sanford Baker. Not until you're holding elective office.
Well, it's just that seeing you like this, now I'm not really in the mood.
Does this help?
Oh, come to me, my little tasseled absentee ballot.
Oh. Mrs. Beverly, how if you hate the Republicans so much?
Oh, I don't hate them personally. I just despise their unfeeling, greedy, mean-spiritedness and total lack of compassion and social conscience. Bastards.
How are you going to stand the whole committee of them in your house checking out you and your family then?
Oh, it's easy, see. When they're talking, I'll just be doing my mantra in my head. Bastards.
Yo, Mom. Now, if Dad get elected, you gonna call the political shots?
Uh-huh.
So you gonna help out the oppressed?
Absolutely.
And, protect the front of action?
Top of my list.
And go after racism?
With a passion.
And you're gonna redistribute the wealth to the poor folk, right?
Some of it.
The pressure of partisan politics got to Dr. Baker, and he did something very unusual. He acted like a real father and took everyone out to a movie so they could chill, except for Tiffany, who already had plans.
Oh, Tiffany, not every woman would do this for me.
Oh, sure they would, Jason.
They wouldn't. Believe me, I know. It's become impossible for me to date inside LA's Quaker community.
Oh, Jason, I knew you were religious.
You bet I am. Now bring Thanksgiving home to me.
This is your punishment, Pilgrim Zeke.
Harder, Mistress, for I have sinned on and about Plymouth Rock. Oh, yeah.
This is for lying to the Indians.
Oh, yeah.
This is for cheating the Indians.
Oh, more.
This is for only bringing over boring wasp on the Mayflower.
Oh, yes.
This is for undercooking the turkey, you vermin.
Oh, yes.
Lowlife.
Oh.
You bad boy.
Oh, stop. You're hurting me. Please stop.
Oh, Jason, you're bleeding on your cornucopia. Call me in a couple days, Jason. Good luck with those welds.
And in order to keep his chances to win public office out of the hospital, Dr. Baker made a Bob Dole move. He decided to stand for nothing and just be all things to all people.
The issue of choice is larger than the family itself. And all Americans, no matter what side of the issue they're on, must learn to respect life itself. What do you think?
Well, it's an encouraging start, but it's not just about respecting life, see? It's also about forcing our views down the throats of the irresponsible.
I'll try to work that in. We have come to a time in America when people's needs dictate that some treasured things must be torn down and rebuilt so that a bleak legacy can become a beacon.
Yeah, see, torn down. That's good, Pops. I got a look.
Right on.
Dr. Baker, if I may, what you just said to Tyler, it doesn't mean anything.
I know. But it sounds good and you can apply it to any side of any issue. I'm getting the hang of this politics thing.
Well, you seem really excited about this.
Oh, I am. I'm not even running yet and I already picked up a breast implant.
How do you know it's because of this?
The woman said she came to me because she heard I might be asked to run. I could tell she was a Republican.
How so?
She wants a B cup.
Hey, Tiff. How was your date with Jason? Tiffany, what's the big deal?
Mom, it was awful.
What happened? Okay, stop joking.
Bad boy! Bad boy!
Stop kidding, Tiff.
You human spillage!
That's not funny.
You Aunt Colony in pants!
Oh, stop, please. You're hurting me. Please stop.
Mom, it was awful. He made me see a dark side of myself. The ability to enjoy the infliction of pain.
Excuse me. I gotta go lie down and heal. I'm sorry you had a lousy time, dear.
Dr. Baker, Since nothing makes you happy for very long, you won't be satisfied with just Sacramento. You'll want to go to Washington next, see?
I suppose that's possible.
Well, let me tell you this right now. My family is here, so don't even consider asking me to move.
Why would we ask you to move? We can just get new help there. Domestics are a dime a dozen.
I clean and cook for these spoiled bakers, and what thanks do I get? I get treated like a paper plate that can just be tossed away. You know, their name should be the Dr. Sanford Ingrate family.
Now, Hodgwood Baxter, who normally chairs this committee, had to cancel at the last minute. An emergency banking crisis, I'm afraid.
Man, this bitch criminally white.
Did you have something to say, Tyler?
No, he doesn't. Occasionally he makes gurgling noises. It's an acid reflux problem.
Anyway, Hodge implored me to convey in the strongest possible terms just how critical the entire family of whomever we choose as our candidate is to the success of the campaign.
I can assure you this entire family is firmly behind my Uncle Sanford's Republican values, which of course include outlawing abortion, squashing affirmative action.
What do you
The family loves to engage in a lively political debate.
Oh, yes, like the Kennedys, only less tragic.
Beverly,
Beat up Jesse Jackson.
I love this.
Out my face, Pinwich! Anything's better than wet Willie Clinton.
English only my ass!
A potential new leader of the Republican Revolution gets beaten, not at the polls, but in his own home. A young woman dreams of romance that will take her to new shores of happiness, only to land on Plymouth Rock with a hemorrhaging pilgrim. And an entire family committed to changing the agenda for this country remains gridlocked in an endless bickering over the issues. Sound like a typical day in Congress? Could be. But if you ask my opinion, the bakers of Sherman Oaks are pretty screwed up. But they're not that bad.
Marilyn Monroe was blonde and beautiful and a Democrat. Well, at least she slept with Democrats. So it's easy for people to look at me and think that I'm a Democrat. I can't believe that good looks determine party affiliations. But if it was true, I guess all lesbians would vote for Bob Dole.